The Sealed Nectar, an audiobook about the most epic story of the greatest man on human history, the Prophet Muhammad. Chapter 1. Location and Nature of Arab Tribes. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, the biography of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, manifestly represents an exhaustive embodiment of the sublime divine message that he communicated in outer, to deliver the human race from the swamp of darkness and polytheism to the paradise of light and monotheism. An image, authentic as well as comprehensive, of this message is therefore only attainable through careful study and profound analysis of both backgrounds and issues of such a biography. In view of this, a whole chapter introduced the nature and development of Arab tribes prior to Islam, as well as the circumstantial environment that enwrapped the Prophet's mission. Location of the Arabs. Linguistically, the word Arab means deserts and waste barren land well nigh waterless and treeless. Ever since the dawn of history, the Arabian Peninsula and its people have been called as such. The Arabian Peninsula is enclosed in the west by the Red Sea and Sinai, in the east by the Arabian Gulf, in the south by the Arabian Sea, which is an extension of the Indian Ocean, and in the north by Old Syria and part of Iraq. The area is estimated between 1 million and 1.25 million square miles. Thanks to its geographical position, the peninsula has always maintained great importance. Considering its internal setting, it is mostly deserts and sandy places, which has rendered it inaccessible to foreigners and invaders, and allowed its people complete liberty and independence through the ages, despite the presence of 2 neighboring great empires. Its external setting, on the other hand, caused it to be the center of the Old World and provided it with sea and land links with most nations at the time. Thanks to this strategic position, the Arabian Peninsula had become the center for trade, culture, religion, and art.
Arab tribes. Arab kinfolks have been divided according to lineage into 3 groups. 1. Perishing Arabs. The ancient Arabs, of whose history little is thrown, and of whom were Ad, Thamud, Tassam, Jadis, Emlak, and others. 2. Pure Arabs, who originated from the progeny of Yarub, son of Yashjub, son of Qahtan. They were also called Qahtanian Arabs. 3. Arabized Arabs, who originated from the progeny of Ishmael. They were also called Adnanian Arabs. The pure Arabs, the people of Qahtan, originally lived in Yemen and comprised many tribes, 2 of which were very famous. A. Himyar, the most famous of whose septs were Zaid al-Jamhur, Qudaa, and Sakasik. B. Kalan, the most famous of whose septs were Hamdan, Anmar, Tai, Mudhaj, Kinda, Lacham, Jutham, Azd, Aus, Khazraj, and the descendants of Japhna, the kings of Old Syria. Kalan's septs emigrated Thorn Yemen to dwell in the different parts of the Arabian Peninsula, prior to the Great Flood, Sail al-Arim of Maribdam in Yemen, due to the failure of trade, under the Roman pressure and domain on both sea and land trade routes, following Roman occupation of Egypt and Syria. Naturally enough, the competition between Kalan and Himyar led to the evacuation of the first and the settlement of the second in Yemen. The emigrating septs of Kalan can be divided into 4 groups. 1. Azd, who, under the leadership of Imran son of Amr Muzaykba, wandered in Yemen, sent pioneers, and finally headed northwards. Details of their emigration can be summed up as follows. Thalaba son of Amr left his tribe al-Azd for Hijaz, and dwelt between Thalabiya and Dhikar. When he gained strength, he headed for Medina, where he stayed. Of his seed are Aus and Khazraj, sons of Haritha son of Thalaba. Haritha son of Amr, known as Khuza'a, wandered with his folks in Hijaz until they came to Mar az-Zalwan. Later, they conquered the Haram and settled in Makkah after having driven away its people, the tribe of Jurhum. Imran son of Amr and his folks went to Ulman, where they established the tribe of Azd, whose children inhabited Tihama, and were known as Azd of Shanua. Japhna son of Amr and his family headed for Syria, where he settled and initiated the kingdom of Ghassan, who was so named after a spring of water in Hijaz, where they stopped on their way to Syria. 2. Lacham and Judham, of whom was Nazir son of Rabi'ah, father of Manadira, kings of Hira. 3. Sons of Tai, who also emigrated northwards to settle by the so-called Aja and Salma mountains, which were consequently named as Tai Mountains. 4. Kinda, who dwelt in Bahrain, but were expelled to Hadramut and Najd, where they instituted a powerful government, but not for long. for the whole tribe soon faded away. Another tribe of Himyar, known as Kuda'a, also left Yemen and dwelt in Samawa semi-desert on the borders of Iraq. The Arabized Arabs go back in ancestry to their great-grandfather Abraham, from a town called Ar near Kufa on the west bank of the Euphrates in Iraq. Excavations brought to light great details of the town, Abraham's family, and the prevalent religions and social circumstances. It is known that Abraham left Ar for Haran and then for Palestine, which he made headquarters for his message. He wandered all over the area. When he went to Egypt, the Pharaoh tried to do evil to his wife Sarah, but Allah saved her and the Pharaoh's wicked scheme recoiled on him. He thus came to realize her strong attachment to Allah, and, in acknowledgement of her grace, the Pharaoh rendered his daughter Hagar at Sarah's service, but Sarah gave Hagar to Abraham as a wife. Abraham returned to Palestine where Hagar gave birth to Ishmael. Sarah became so jealous of Hagar that she forced Abraham to send Hagar and her baby away to a plantless valley on a small hill in Hijaz, by the sacred house, exposed to the wearing of floods coming right and left. He chose for them a place under a lofty tree above Zamzam, near the upper side of the mosque in Makkah, where neither people nor water was available, and went back to Palestine, leaving with his wife and baby a leather case with some dates and a pot of water. Not before long, they ran out of both food and water, but thanks to Allah's favor, water gushed forth to sustain them for some time. The whole story of Zamzam spring is already known to everybody. Another Yemeni tribe, Jurhum II, came and lived in Makkah upon Hagar's permission, after being said to have lived in the valleys around Makkah. It is mentioned in the Sahih al-Bukhari that this tribe came to Makkah before Ishmael was a young man, while they had passed through that valley long before this event. Abraham used to go to Makkah every now and then to see his wife and son. The number of these journeys is still unknown, but authentic historical resources spoke of 4 ones. Allah, the Sublime, stated in the Noble Quran that he had Abraham see, in his dream, that he slaughtered his son Ishmael, and therefore Abraham stood up to fulfill his order. Then, when they had both submitted themselves to the will of Allah, and he had laid him prostrate on his forehead, or on the side of his forehead for slaughtering, and we called out to him, O Abraham, you have fulfilled the dream, vision. Verily. Thus do we reward the Muhsinun, good doers, who perform good deeds totally for Allah's sake only, without any show-off or to gain praise or fame, and do them in accordance to Allah's orders. Verily, that indeed was a manifest trial. And we ransomed him with a great sacrifice, i.e., a ram. Surah 37 verses 103 to 107. It is mentioned in the Genesis that Ishmael was 13 years older than his brother Ishaq, Isaac. The sequence of the story of the sacrifice of Ishmael shows that it happened before Isaac's birth, and that Allah's promise to give Abraham another son, Isaac, came after the narration of the whole story. This story spoke of one journey, at least before Ishmael became a young man. Al-Bukhari, on the authority of Ibn Abbas, reported the other 3 journeys, a summary of which goes as follows. When Ishmael became a young man, he learned Arabic at the hand of the tribe of Jurhum, who loved him with great admiration and gave him one of their women as a wife, soon after his mother died. Having wanted to see his wife and son again, Abraham came to Makkah after Ishmael's marriage, but he didn't find him at home. He asked Ishmael's wife about her husband and how they were doing. She complained of poverty, so he asked her to tell Ishmael to change his doorstep. Ishmael understood the message, divorced his wife, and got married to the daughter of Mudad bin Amr, chief of the tribe of Jurhum. Once more, Abraham came to see his son, but again didn't find him at home. He asked his new wife the same previous question, to which she thanked Allah.